growing up without a father was kind of natural. He was never in my life, so my first 10 years of life, it just seemed normal to me, until I got to middle school and high school, where my friends were like hanging out with their dads and invited me to go hang out with their family, and I got to see my best friends with moms and dads. That's when it became for me more of a challenge, because I got to see what a family dynamic was more like than what I had at home. But for me, it was more detrimental to me towards the middle school and high school years of life, more so than it was in elementary school when I didn't really know any better. Some of the biggest struggles that I dealt with without having a father was just trying to fit into the crowd. I never really identified with any group of people. I really felt like an outcast most of my time in elementary, middle school, and high school. So for me, I didn't really act out as in breaking laws or anything like that, but what I really did was try to fit into these different circles of people that I didn't really feel like I was fitting in with, but I definitely made it a point to fit in with them, whether that was drinking or smoking, and just kind of being a part of the crowd without being accepted into these different cliques and groups. I definitely pushed myself into being in these groups when I know I didn't fit into them. I think for me to overcome the lack of a father, I sought out something, and thankfully I grew up in a family that had great men in it, and I'll always give credit to my cousin Amos and my uncle Elias for those people that invested into me, knowing that I grew up without a father, and them who actually grew up with a father and a good, strong, God-fearing father. For me, I didn't get to have that, but I got to have people that were willing to invest into me, and they taught me what was right from wrong, even if they weren't my parents. My mom got to send me to Colorado multiple summers of my life so that I could be poured into by an older cousin who was a pastor in Colorado. For me, it was something that meant more to me to go to Colorado than just a vacation, a summer break. It was something that I got to get away from home, got to get away from the single parent household. With my cousin Amos, he was married, he had kids, so I got to feel a part of that family. And overcoming not having a dad was actually replacing my non-existent father with people that were investing in my life throughout my life. So one of the biggest things was accepting father figure like people into my life, even though they weren't biologically my father. So accepting people was always a struggle for me. I still actually struggle with that a lot today, whether that's just friendships or people that want to invest into my life. I really struggle with letting people in because I don't want them to see the broken pieces that are there. So for me, growing up without a father, it was very difficult to let anybody in. I definitely was a person that kept emotions bottled up, and it just so happened to let the bottle get so full that it finally exploded and I had to share with someone. And like I said, I still struggle with that. I still struggle with letting people in, and it still hurts to actually share a story sometimes of how I grew up without a father. But I think nowadays it's easier to do that because I've shared it so many times, and I've shared it with some of my closest friends and closest family, that they understand what I go through. A lot of my friends have an absent father, and so it's easy to relate with them, and it's easy to talk about how there's been differences and similarities in our pasts and in our lives and how we can move forward in that. But absolutely, it has been a struggle to let people in, and I think it always will be, just because there's that absentee there in my heart that it's hard to let someone that isn't biologically connected to me in that and replace that. I am thankful for the people that have come in and invested in that small missing piece. Whether that is filled with God's love, friendship love, family love, I think there's always going to be a missing piece of a biological father. So my relationship with God was never a super strong thing. I've mentioned so many times that it's so hard for me to open up to people, and I think with God's grace it would be easier to do that. And I know that God has shown so much grace over my life. There's definitely a big part of me that feels like I shouldn't be where I am today. Graduating through Southwestern Assemblies of God and being accepted into a master's degree and finding hope where there seems to be no hope in a world that's shattered and broken. I definitely feel like God has kind of put an umbrella over my life and showed grace and showed mercy. And I know that He's placed people strategically in my life to assist me in my journey through life. And I know life is never going to be easy, and it's never going to be a walk in the park. But I know that God has put people in my life to make the journey easier and more fulfilling, because He knows that there is that absentee, and He knows that success is going to come eventually. And I already feel like I have been a success in the world, because statistics prove that those who grow up without a father are pretty likely to act out and go crazy. And yes, I've had my moments, but God has shown me grace through those moments, and He's definitely pushed me through some of the hardest parts of my life. And He's brought me here today to be kind of a light to people that have grown up without a father as well, whether that is people that I meet that are older than me, that are younger than me, or even about the same age as me. The biggest piece of advice I would give anybody that grew up without a parent, whether that's a mom or dad, would be to really accept the people that are around them. Life is so much easier with people, and it's so much easier with people that love you and you love them. It makes life super fulfilling, it makes life peaceful, and I think one of my biggest issues was that I never let people in, and it was hard for me to do that. So if you are dealing with something like this, I encourage you and challenge you really to really let people into your life and share your story, because I've noticed for me that when I've shared my story, it just makes it a little bit easier to push through. I've always been a dreamer. I definitely want to succeed in life, and I think God has put dreams in my life that have kind of flourished, and others that are still just the seed. But my biggest dream in life is to eventually move overseas and enter into a world that is purely ski based, and I definitely want to pursue my dreams of being a skier, and I got to do that since I was a little kid, and I plan on doing that until like the day I die. I definitely have had many dreams of moving to Japan, Switzerland, Italy, or France to open up a restaurant or a line of restaurants in the American food culture. I definitely have a passion for food, and I definitely have a passion for burgers. And for me, I would love to share that passion with people around the world, especially the people that I can closely relate with in the ski community. I definitely would love to go overseas and open up these restaurants and be able to share the New Mexico culture that I grew up with and tie it into the Japanese culture and the Italian culture and the French culture, as well as the Swiss culture.